Vanita, my wife, she was talking to Siran, and he was asking her how did we meet or whatever, some stuff like that. She's like, the one condition I had that somebody that I have to be with has to have a motorcycle, and that is, so he's asking her, did you have any other condition? She's like, no, he just had to have a motorcycle. So I was just like, okay, so basically, she married me because I had a bike. So I'm grateful for that. I'm completely
I'm
grateful for
telling you,
that.
bikes are good for you. If you don't have a bike in your life, it's not complete.
Have any of you had a motorcycle and it has helped you?
Yeah. It has. I mean, if it is there, it has helped. I guarantee it. Which I can't say for cars.
Because I mean, you'll have to go really up the ladder for
Yeah.
it to get to anywhere interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about cars, this is again we've ended up talking about feelings and how sometimes you can perceive something and learn to work with it. I think one of the things that we end up, I think it's a maybe a early stage imbalance that happens,
Hmm.
is that where you want to force yourself and your authority on the machine.
Hmm.
I don't think you and I think about the relationship that way at all.
No, in fact, today when I see on social media somebody creates a sentence on the lines of taming the beast,
Mm,
taming this machine, or I tamed, I'm like, that's an adversarial connotation to a very simple relationship. And I don't know why you would think of your own bike or car as an adversary to you. I mean, to me, it is my biggest accomplice, if you're being naughty. It's my
exactly.
biggest partner, and in whatever we do, including in crime, as it were. But to me, I have never thought of a single motorcycle as a contest where it has a will and I have a will and we're trying to see who succeeds. Never. Why would I buy a bike that does that with me?
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I would always think about and would think about passing on to anybody who's looking at using automobiles in any form and fashion and to derive satisfaction and pleasure out of it. That it's not really you versus them, as you said, adversarial, or you and them. It's this. If anything, it goes this.
Yeah.
Right? And being able to listen and letting the machine guide you has also been beautiful at times. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give you one example, which I remember clearly. Toyota, they ran that one season of the Etios Liva Cup,
Hmm.
right? The MMRT, the Chennai racetrack, had just been resurfaced then. And as it turned out, it hadn't been resurfaced all that well for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And the track was effectively like a rally course.
It was super bumpy, no?
It was bumpy. There were chunks of tarmac coming off, so there were gravel sitting.
Oh,
There
yeah, I
was
remember.
at the edge, so it was unbelievable. Like,
Hmm.
you were actually sliding on the track. There were in corners you would just be, and it was a weird thing that you're on the track and you're having all these moments which would be like rally like.
Hmm.
I was just like, yeah, it's okay. And the car's doing this, and which is, I think, the beauty. And a lot of car control, bikes is slightly different in this sense. Car control, you're reading the car so much because the movements can be so pronounced,
Correct.
the angles you get into.
Hmm.
It's about feeling calm and
Hmm.
feeling at ease with the machine, saying that, okay, I'll follow you. So that whole thing of opposite lock,
Hmm.
right? It's like you follow the machine. You're not fighting
Yeah,
it.
you're not.
When you
Yeah.
start fighting it is when the
Correct.
trouble happens.
Correct.
And that entire race, it was just drifting around corners and it kept getting worse. It kept getting worse because there was more and more tarmac being chewed
Obviously.
up as the
Yeah.
cars came
Yeah.
around. At the end of it, it was one of the most beautiful times I've had on the track in a car.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, okay, let the car do what it wants. You've braked, you've turned it sliding, okay, let it slide. You just go with it, just balance it.
Yeah.
And that was it, man. The
Yeah.
entire race was that. It was awesome. I
Yeah.
loved it.
It's the same on bikes also. When you start to go fast, then you start to slide it here and there a little bit. And I say you slide it, but it happens to you
Yeah.
more than you provoke it. You being able to provoke it comes much, much, much later. And the first thing that happens, I think, is that you try to intervene. But all the steering geometry that you read about says the trail's job is to intervene. And it centers your steering. And if it is sliding, it steers into the slide by itself. All you have to do at that point is let it. And I think I was at school. I can't remember whether it was Anand School or CSS. I can't remember. But I was at school and I was at a pace on that bike on that day or whatever where the first slide started to happen. So now it is sliding. And I know that, okay, at turn 10 or whatever, I will do this and then the bike will have a little bit of a moment. First two times, I think I intervened a lot. And then there was like this weird moment where you're completely out of control and the bike's trying to say, stop interfering. I know what to do.
Yeah.
Right? It took me 3, 4, 5 laps to say, okay, just let's see if I don't change a thing, what happens. And then this bike would go like this, and then the handlebar would gently turn into the slide. Then everything would get restored, and I was like, okay, I don't have to intervene. And then I really enjoyed my next two sessions. Then I asked the instructor, saying, "This is happening. Is this okay?" And he says, "No, it's not. It means you're going very slowly." I'm sliding the bike. What do you mean I'm going slowly? He says, "No, it shouldn't be sliding there. You should have the throttle open more positively there, so it can't slide there." Sliding means you're wasting force going this way when you could be going that way. To go that way, you have to open the throttle. Oh, so your line is wrong. Oh my God, it was full maths after that. You're turning it at the wrong place, so you have to wait a long time. Then you can't get on the throttle. So obviously it starts to slide, but you can only do 20% throttle. And you found a balance which you're happy about. I'm very good for you. But there should be 45% throttle there. What are you doing? You're wasting time. Oh, okay.
Oh my God. So then the fix came easy?
Yeah, the fix next time was to turn in a little bit later, slow down a lot more for the corner, and then open the throttle early. So when you come to the same place where the slides were, I had more throttle open, more weight transferred to the back, so the rear had more grip to work with, so it wouldn't slide.
Trust the feeling. Trust the
Yeah.
feeling.
And I think what I like about motorcycles is that it is a very complicated dynamic system. Some of it is designed to help you, some of it is counterintuitive, and it sort of hops between the two zones. And you have to work out how do you get the counterintuitive to do what you think it's supposed to, and how do you get the difficult stuff to feel as calm as possible while letting the machine help you as much as possible. And I think jumping between the two worlds is the challenge which I really, really love about motorcycle. It's never fully out of control, but I think you have to bring a lot of your attention, decision making, and decision making both in sense of I need to do something or I need to let it do something. So that play between that complicated system and your control over it, I think it's a really, really fun part.
Shumi is always like that. He's always kidding around and also dead serious. There's a lot more of that style of conversation on the main MotorInc channel, so head out and catch the full conversation.